कृष्ण कीर्तन गान नर्तन प्रभु प्रेमामृतम वनिधि वीर वीर जन प्रिय प्रिय करो पूजित श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरौ भुवि भुव भारा तारक वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुगो श्री जीव गोपालक वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुगो श्री जीव गोपालक कृष्ण कीर्तन गान कृष्ण कीर्तन गान नर्तन परम प्रेम वीर वीर जन प्रिय प्रिय करो पूजितम श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरौ चैतन्य कृपा भरौ भुवि भुव मारव अंतरक वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुगौ श्री जीव गोपालक विचारणैक निपुणं सद्धर्म संस्थापकं लोकानां हितकारिणं त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरण करो विचारणैक निपुणं तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणं त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरण कनुगुणं तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं श्री चैतन्य कृपा बरौ लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं करौ विचारणैकनुगुणं तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं राधा कृष्ण राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्दौ भजनामृतौ राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्दौ भजना नंदेन मत्तालिका वंदे रूप सनातनं रघुजुगौ श्री कृष्ण कीर्तन गान नर्तन परौ प्रेम मनिधि वीर वीर जनप्रिय निर्मूदित श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरौ वंदे रूप सनातनं रघुजुगौ सदसुरे चतुरे सुतराज्य लक्ष्मी धर्मीश्च आर्जवदस जदगाद रन्ना मंडलस्नी सदा तुच्छव भूत्वा दीनगणे शतौ करुणया मंडलपति शनि सदा तुच्छव भूत्वा दीनगणे शतौ करुणया कौपीनकण्ठास्थितौ गोपी भावरसामृताब्दलहरी गोपी भावरसामृताब्दलहरी कल्लो लमग्नं वन्दे रूप सनातनं रघुजुगौ श्रीजी भगो बालक राधे राधे ब्रज देविके च हे नंद सूना कुतः हे राधे ब्रज देविके च ललिते हे नंद सून कुतः श्री गोवर्धन पादपतले कालिंदी वने कुतः। Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jai Paramam Samparibrajagacharya Stakare Smadhati Tam Saraswati Goswami Bhagavad Jai Nanda Gauri Vaishnava Jai Ramacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Jai Names of the whole Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivacharya Gaur Bhakti Jai Sri Radha Krishna Bhogavnath Sankand Radha Kundari Jai Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jai Paramam Samparibrajagacharya Stakare Smadhati Tam Saraswati Goswami Bhagavad Jai Nanda Gauri Vaishnava Jai Ramacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Jai Names of the whole Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivacharya Gaur Bhakti Jai Sri Radha Krishna Bhogavnath Sankand Radha Kundari Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Maya Jamuna Mai ki jai, Guru Dwarka Dhan ki jai, Swami the Bhaktivinoda ki jai, all glories to that. All glories to that. Thank you very much.
Very nice. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Ishvara Prabhu. Please unmute yourself, Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu. You're welcome, Prabhu.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Please, you can continue.
Okay. Narayana namaskritya narayachaiva narotamam devam saraswati vyasam tato jayamudiraye nasta prayesva bhadresu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati tamasloke bhakti bhavati nastiki Betiramani chaiva purane bharati tata adu antyacha madhyecha hari sabatu giyate Mukam karoti vachalam prangu langarate giri yakipataha vande shri gudinatarini paramananda madhava dharma prajita karibhuta paramodi masam satam vedam vastavam atavastu shivadan tapatayo molanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamani Kitaki Vaipara Isvara Sadhu Rudi Avarudaditra Katipita Kishanan Nigama Kapatalu Galitam Phalam Sukamuka Davasanjutam Vibatam Bhagavatam Rasamalaya Mohura Rasika Bhuvibhavaka Atoyam Brahmasutranam Bharatata Vidinaya Gayati Bascha Rupa Vidata Paribhipita Sababiditiya Saranam Saram Saram Paribhimita Sababhidantam Saram Sri Bhagavatam Ishiti Tarasami Tasyati Prasyananyatya Shikati Kuchi Agyanatimantasya Gananganan Salakaya Chakshusmitaya Natasma Shri Guravi Nama Sri Chaitanyamana Vishtan Stapita Yana Bhutali Charupa Kadamaya Radati Shampadantikam Guravi Gurachandaya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishna ya Krishna Bhakta ya Tabhaktayo Namo Namaha Vanchakapatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhi Vihevcha Patitanam Pavanabhebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I am happy to be here this morning, your time, and this afternoon, my time here in Vrindavan, India. I'm looking forward to the day when Kavikana Prabhu will be here along with his family. Here, Vrindavan.
Mercy, Prabhu.
So that'll be wonderful. So we are continue on the daily discourse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. This Bhagavatam, or Bhagavat Mahapurana, this is the only hope for mankind. As we're going to be hearing from this chapter about the importance of Bhagavatam. That is the essence of all education, the essence of all undertaking, the essence of all spiritual practice is the having Srimad Bhagavatam and reading Bhagavatam. Like one of the verses which I recite, it said that Nanyatya Shyarati Kuchit, that for one who has developed a taste for studying Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavatam, such a person will always be situated in the transcendental ocean of bliss. And such a person, we have nothing else to look for in this world. So Bhagavatam is very, very important scriptures. So this chapter 5, text number 4, which we are going to be reading now. This is the conversation that the whole chapter is a conversation between Veda Vyas and Narada Muni. Narada Muni being the guru of Vyasadeva. Both Narada Muni and Vyasadeva, they are not honorary entity. They are both incarnation of the Lord. So that's why Vyasadeva is called Krishna Dvapayan Vyas, because it's an incarnation of Lord Krishna, born in an island. Actually, there are so many Vyas, many Vyasadevas in every age, in every Manvanta basically. There is a Vyasadeva in every Manvanta. Of course, the purpose of the Vyas is to disseminate Vedic knowledge, because at the end of every Manu, there is a devastation. It is a partial devastation when the universe is destroyed, partially destroyed, which means up to the higher planet, up to the planet of Indra, which is the heavenly planet, the whole universe is destroyed. Up to which means it's covered with inundation. So, and then after some time, again, there is another Manu that comes. So every Manu has got a particular Vyas. And the next Manvanta that is going to come, because right now we are in the Vaivashaka Manu period, and we are in the middle of that, and every Manu lives for there are 14 Manu in one day of Brahma, so which means each Manu stays for 71 million years basically. Is it? No, not million years. 71 kappas. So you can multiply 71 times 4.3 million years. So whatever that's the life of a Manu. And then there's devastation, and then again there's reconstruction, or what do you call it, and then another Manu comes. So in the next Manu, the next Vyasadeva is actually going to be Ashwatam. And of course, Ashwatam has got he was kind of a notorious person, because in the Mahabharata, he slew in order to please Duryodhana, he killed the 5 sleeping sons of Pandavas, of Draupadi, by which Arjuna wanted to kill him that time. But anyway, it's a good story where you find in the Mahabharata, and also in the chapter 8 of Bhagavatam. We're going to read about that. Hare Krishna. So the next Manu is going to be Ashwatan. This you find if you read Devi Bhagavat. This is mentioned in the Devi Bhagavat. And of course, when I first read that, because I said, well, this guy was such a genius fellow, how come it's going to be the next, yes. So, the way of the Lord is very mysterious, of course. So anyway, I will get to that in a little bit. So we just read today's text. So today's text is 154. Jigya sitam aditam cha brahma yatta sanatanam tatapi sochashyatmanam akitata iva prabhu. Jigyasitam deliberated fully, well. Aditam, the knowledge obtained or realized knowledge. Cha, and Brahma, the absolute. Yet, what? That Sanatanam, eternal, Tatapi, in spite of that, so shall see, lamenting Atmanam unto the self, Akrita Alta, undone, Iva, like Prabhu, my dear Prabhu, my dear sir, my dear Prabhu. To call someone a Prabhu is not an easy thing. It's not a cheap thing, actually. But somehow, as devotees, sometimes we take this word Prabhu, we take it very, very cheaply. Actually, it's only an exalted devotee is addressed as Prabhu, actually. So we should feel ourselves being, what do you call it? If somebody call us Prabhu, we should feel ourselves being honored that, oh, thank you very much, you're calling me Prabhu. But here, Narada Muni is addressing Vyasadeva as Prabhu, even though Narada Muni is the guru of Vyasadeva. So translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. You have fully delineated the subject of impersonal Brahman as well as the knowledge derived therefrom. Why should you be despondent in spite of all this, thinking that you are undone, my dear Prabhu? So Narada Muni was very surprised that yesterday was feeling sorrowful. He was basically lamenting. He was feeling incomplete. So Narada Muni was saying that you've done so much good work to humanity. So this is very surprising that you're feeling yourself to be, incomplete. This is very surprising. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada written, the Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra, compiled by Sri Vyasadeva, is the full deliberation of the impersonal absolute feature, and it is accepted as the most exalted philosophical exposition in the world. It covers the subject of eternity, and the methods are scholarly, so there cannot be any doubt about the transcendental scholarship of Vyasadeva. So why should we lament? So this is the question that Vyasadeva is lamenting. Even though he has done such a wonderful work, he has made such an accomplishment. Because first, he compiled the Vedic scriptures, the 4 Vedas. He compiled them. First, he studied them first, Jigyasitam. He studied them, then Aditam, which means he realized them. Because normally, the great personality, they don't teach any subject matter unless they fully realized it. It's not that we read something or we hear something and then we start, just, broadcasting like a parrot. We cannot be like parrots. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. We can hear you now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because my light went out. This is India, so we are used to our light going on and off, especially Vrindavan. So, as I said, that before one start teaching, the knowledge must be realized. There must be a realized knowledge. And it is after when that knowledge is realized and when it's teaching, so that teaching becomes very profound, which means whoever is hearing it, they also become benefited by such teaching, because it's a profound knowledge, because the teacher is teaching a realized knowledge. Realized knowledge means something that one have a personal experience of. So we are talking of the absolute reality, the absolute, in terms of the absolute reality. So the one has a full realization of the absolute reality, and then one is able to actually experience that reality, then one can properly teach that subject. So Srila Vyasadeva was such a person. He first he studied all the Vedic scriptures, because they are originally coming from Lord Brahma. There are 4 Vedas, which is the like we have Rig Veda, Atharva Veda, Sama Veda, and Yajur Veda. So 4 Vedas are there, and these 4 Vedas they consist of how one should live in this material world, in terms of what one's duties should be. It means all the topics of Dharma, Artha, Karma. It's all there in these 4 Vedas, by which, in terms of which demigod should be worshipped, which rituals, how to please the ancestors. All these various topics are there, and also the topic of Ayurveda. In the Yajur Veda is there, Samaveda, songs, Atharva, different sacrifices. There are various corollaries of different Vedic scriptures. The Vedas, and they are very vast in number. They're quite vast. Actually, one had to spend one's lifetime studying all the Vedas. Now, previously, people used to live for a long time, so therefore they can actually spend years and years and years and years, learning the Vedic scriptures, which talks about, all the various aspects of life. So all this, Srila Vyasadeva, he compiled them for the good of humanity. He compiled them nicely. And then he taught his various disciples. He had many disciples, such as Jamini Rishi, Vasampayana, and he taught each disciples different branches of the Vedic scriptures, so that they can in turn teach it to the humanity. Just like Jamini Rishi, for instance, the aspect of the Vedic branch of Kamakanda, which means the one's activity in this material world, how one can perform different rituals, so that one can live a very nice, materialistic life. So this is taught by Jamini Rishi. So the Jamini Rishi, of course, he learned it from Srila Vyasadeva. And then, since living the material world cannot really give one the ultimate satisfaction, cannot really give one the ultimate happiness, because material world, no matter what you have, no matter what your situation is, there's always miseries of life. Is always there. There's misery, 3, 4 miseries are there. Adi Diver, Adi Bautik, and Adi Admika. So those 3, 4 miseries are always there. There's just like we have winter, we have summer, heat season, cold season. Maybe in West Africa, there's only one season, but where I live, and also most parts of the world, they have different seasons. So sometimes it's very, very cold, and sometimes it's very, very hot. Okay. So just like I'm wearing sweater now, which means very cold here in Vrindavan. So happiness and the rest of life is like that. Yeah, no one can escape it. No one can escape, distress and happiness of life. No one can do that, because that's the very nature of the material world. So there are some people who, having tasted all kinds of things, all kinds of fruit that this material world have to offer, so they start thinking. They start thinking that there must be something different. There must be something beyond just living this material world. Sometimes situation is good and sometimes situation are bad. There must be something different. There must be a better place. So a better place must be there. So with this in mind, so Srila yesterday, we compiled the philosophical basis. He compiled the philosophical truths. This is called Upanishad, in the form of Upanishad, whereby one start deliberating in terms of what is temporary and what is eternal. One start deliberating. There are so many Upanishads out there. Isa Upanishad, Sitashwara Upanishad, Prashna Upanishad, Kata Upanishad, Anyadaka Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad. There are about at least 108 Upanishads are there. Some of them are very, very short. Like Isha Upanishad, it's only 18 verses. And there are some Upanishads who are quite big, like Brian Arajaka Upanishad is a very, very big Upanishad, quite big. So many Upanishads are there. So all this, Srila Vyasadeva, wrote. Upanishad means there is a guru and there is a disciple, and the disciple sit down. Upanishad means to sit down, and then the disciple heard from the guru, teaching these philosophical principles. So Srila Vyasadeva, he wrote all these different Upanishads. He compared it because actually there are different authors of various Upanishads. Different authors are there. Just like Chandogya Upanishad was mainly a conversation between Maitreya and his wife Maitreya. There was one time Maitreya Muni, he was about to take Vanapras. Was about to take, and Maitreya, he had two wives. So he was about to take Vanapras. So he told his wife that, okay, I am going to the forest, and all of you, whatever we have, I divide everything. And I'm going to the forest. So one of his wives asked him that, why are you going to the forest? So he said, well, I want to pursue that because I want to attain that. Having attained, I do not come back again to this material world. So that's why I'm going to the forest. So so one of his wives said, well, I am also interested in that. So let me follow you. So he said, okay, you can come. So she followed him. And then there's a conversation that is there between him and his wife, Maitreya. You find that, a lot of philosophical, very, very high philosophical points are in that Upanishad. As you read Bhagavad Gita, as you study the, Chaitanya Charitamrita, you sometimes you will see a lot of quotation. There's a lot of quotation of this Upanishad. So again, because all these Upanishads are full of highly philosophical content, and there are so many of them. So what Srila Vyasadeva did was to bring all of them into focus. He put them all together. He put them all together, and so that and you put them in the form of codes. Code. So this code is called the code means sutra. Sutra, like like threading something together. Like sutra is like a thread, whereby you want to make a thread. You have some bunch of bead, and then you are threading them in one by one. So you put them all together in the form of codes, so that one can really understand what is what the Upanishads, what they are teaching. So like the very first the very first aphorism, Upanishad said that Jamadi Ashiyata, that's it said that Atato Brahmajigasa, that now let's inquire into spirit, which means we are no longer interested in anything but this material world. Okay, let me just put this on the silent mode. It's impossible. Okay. So, which means that we're no longer interested in this material world. Let's talk about spirit. Atato Brahmajigasa, let's inquire into the spirit. Let's inquire into the spirituality, into what is really good, what is really, really beneficial for us in the long run. Because in this material world, everyone is always after what you call a prayer. Prayer means what is immediately gratifying. Just like if you go to the market, you buy some fruit or you buy something, you immediately eat it, and then you get immediate gratification, basically. It's called prayer. But there's also what we call Shreya. Shreya means long-term benefits. Long-term benefit, like just like a simple example, you planted a seed of mango into the you got a mango, and then you planted the seed into the soil. So you planted the mango, you planted a seed into the soil, and that soil is there, but it takes a long time for the mango to grow. It takes a long time. You have to water it, you have to nurture it. And it takes maybe probably 3 years for the mango to grow, and then they start producing all kinds of fruits. So which means from one mango, you don't just get, when the mango tree grows and then start producing all kinds of fruit, you don't just get one mango as a fruit, but you get lots of mango, which means you basically reach continuously. So similarly also, the part of Shreya is like that. Atato Brahmajigasa, let's inquire into the spirit, into what is really, really beneficial for us. Because as long as we are, absorbing this material world, that beneficial, that thing will not be there. So therefore, Srila Vyasadeva, he compiled the Vedanta Sutra so that we can be able to, because by bringing all the Upanishad, all of them into focus, and then we can deliberate on what's been taught. Atato Brahmajigasa, Ananda Mayobhyasa, these are different aphorisms. Sarvakalam Idam Brahman, that yes, everything is spirit, that that nothing is really material. And the Ananda Mayobhyasa means that the nature of Atma, of Jiva, is Ananda, the blissful, is bliss. In the Tattva say that you are that, which means you are not this body, you are spiritual body. So there are many aphorisms which are there. And these Vedanta sutras, they are divided into 4 parts, into 4 sections. And each 4 sections are further divided into another 4 sections. So you have 16 parts to the Vedanta Sutra. Now, it so happened, because the Vedanta Sutras, they are very, 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 very high. Because unless one have a very, very good, fine brain, you can't really understand. It's difficult to understand the Vedanta Sutra unless one have a very fine intellect, fine brain. So therefore, Vedanta Sutra needs commentary. Commentary is required in order to understand Vedanta Sutras. Actually, all the four Vaishnava Sampradayas, they've all written commentaries on the Vedanta Sutra, all the four Vaishnava Sampradayas. So, in order to understand the Vedanta, so what Srila Vyasadeva he again did, he compiled all the Puranas. Puranas are the stories of Vedic kings, are the stories of the universe, are the stories of various personalities, their triumph, their whatever, their in life, struggle in life. So many stories, so many Vedic Puranas are there. Specifically, there are 18 what we call Puranas, 18 Mahapuranas. It's like Skanda Purana, Padma Purana, Bhavishya Purana. So many Puranas are there. 18, there are 18. There are 18 major Puranas, and there are also some sub Puranas are there. But they have different stories. And all these stories they teach one how to live a religious life, a dharmic life. All these different Puranas, and especially if you ever read the stories of personalities like Vishwamitra, how he was previously king, and just by seeing the power of Vashishta Muni, he decided to be a king. He decided to renounce being a king. He decided to be a Brahmana because Brahmanas they have a lot of power. So how he has to perform austerity for thousands of years, so many things like that. And then we have the stories of you know King Harishchandra. King Harishchandra is one of my favorite stories actually. Very very interesting pastimes of Harishchandra Maharaj. You know that itself it's not suitable for this club because it's very long story. But lots of fabulous stories, interesting stories are there. But other stories are which by studying the different Puranas, there one can really understand the philosophical basis of life and about the need to really aspire for the higher, goal of life, which is the goal of the Upanishads. And then as we read in the previous verse, by which Nada Muni is glorified. So Nada Muni said that, plus you have also compiled Mahabharata. You've also compiled Mahabharata. Because not only have you compiled the Vedic scriptures, Upanishads, you've done Vedanta Sutra. Also, you've actually, he's talking about Vedanta Sutra in this verse, but you've also compiled Mahabharata. And Mahabharata is about how one can live. It teaches one everything about the duties of material life and also the duty of spiritual life. How to live one's life, how to live a religious life, following the principle of Dharma Artha, Dharma Artha Karma. And then also how also one can attain moksha, liberation. So Mahabharata teaches one, and that's why Mahabharata is such an important scriptures. And many of our acharyas, they've all compiled, they've written books, they've written commentaries on the Mahabharata. Very such an important scripture. And of course, Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata. Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, the topmost science of God, spoken by the Supreme Lord himself. It is there in the Mahabharata. And the so many wonderful stories. Also, Bhishma Gita is also there. Bhishma Gita, the teachings of Bhishma Dev, just before he left the planet, his teaching when he was on the deathbed, he gave such a wonderful teaching called Bhishma Gita. As a matter of fact, in the future, I plan to publish Bhishma Gita. It's quite big teachings. of Bhishma Dev just before he passed away. And lots of teachers are there. They teach the story of Savitri, the story of Maharajari Chandra, the Kashanku, and Vishwamitra, many stories of very rishis, sages. All their stories are there in Mahabharata. So Mahabharata, even though it's basically teaching, it's just like telling the story of a family, especially the family members, which center around the Pandavas and and their cousins, the Kauravas, because the whole Mahabharata is centered around them. But at the same time, also there are so many other stories which will give us the teaching of how to live, how to really live a certain life, how not to live a life based on the ordinary, sense gratification, how to actually live a life of caring for others, how to live a very responsible life. So this is all there in the Mahabharata. So Srila Vyasadeva, he has done such a wonderful work for the benefit of humanity. And he wasn't doing that just because he wants some payment. Normally, in this world, there are so many writers out there, you know. The more they write, the more book they write, the more money they have. So many accomplished writers, they make lots of money in their writings. They get so many awards, so many literary awards there. Some of them even get Nobel Prize, just like in Nigeria, for instance. We have someone like Wole Soyinka, who's a Nobel laureate. He got Nobel in the literary field. So this is it's like accomplishment. But Srila Vyasa was not looking for that. He wasn't looking for. He has done the most literary piece of compilation of writing, which no university can do. He has done all that. But what he did that for? He did this for the sole purpose of benefiting the humanity. So it was so completely selfless. He just want to benefit humanity, so that because humanity sees them suffering in this material world, so he want to elevate them. He want to get them out. He want to take them out of this, ocean of materialistic existence, which is very troublesome. And we know that this materialistic existence is full of, it's like you're in the ocean, and the ocean is full of, big fish, whales, timingilas. Just imagine, crocodile, you're in the water, and facing you are all these mighty, water animals, big crocodiles, big fish, they are coming towards you to devour you. So just imagine how, of course, how are you going to swim and protect yourself from them? But that's our situation in this material. We always start to swim against the tide of materialistic existence. So like yesterday, his main purpose is to get us out of that. Is to take us out of that. So therefore, that why we suffer, why are we in all this trouble? Because somehow we've landed ourselves in the ocean of materialistic existence. So you want to get it out. You want to get us out. So you compare all the various scriptures. Okay, you can live nicely in material world, at least live nicely, but follow some principles, follow some codes. So that if you follow some codes, you'll be able to live your material life nicely. And then when you are tired of materialistic enjoyment, then you can come for liberation. And this is what you have to do to pursue the liberty. This is what what you have to do. So this is what yesterday he has done. But we find that despite the fact that he has done all these things, he was not happy. He was feeling total incomplete. He was feeling dejected. It's like his heart was not. It's like his heart was burning. He sat in meditation. His heart was burning. And he could not figure out why he's having this, why he's so unhappy, why he's so sad. He could not, he just couldn't understand it. And yesterday is not an ordinary person. Yesterday is an incarnation of God. He's an incarnation of Krishna. He's not an ordinary sage. And not only being an ordinary sage, it's an ordinary person like he is. He's, he's a self-realized soul. They are self-realized. And the nature of those who are self-realized is that they are always happy. Those who are self-realized, they're always happy. It mentioned here that Tarati Sokam Atmavit. Tarati Sokam Atmavit means that a knower of Atma, a self-realized person, he does not have any sorrow, he's always happy. I know Aya Sochati Muhammad. So which means for them, they have no sorrow, they are free from any kind of sorrow, and also they are free from all kinds of illusion. Because we feel unhappy, we feel sorrowful due to this illusion, due to incomplete understanding of life. So we feel rejected. But yesterday he realized someone who was a realized person, and that's why Ashla Nadamani, he was mentioning in the text we are reading. He said, Jigyasitam aditam. Jigyasitam aditam. This is the two Sanskrit word that he described, yesterday. That you have, in all the aspects of the scriptures, you have deliberately, deeply on all the fine points of the Vedic scriptures. Deep deliberation. Jigyasitam. And not only have you deliberated on them deeply, you've also realized them aditam. Aditam means to fully comprehend, to fully realize. So normally when we are they give you some knowledge, we have to think about what we are hearing, and that knowledge must be realized. For example, when Vyasadeva, when he was about to write Mahabharata, he was trying to find someone who can be a scribe, who can write down for him. Because Mahabharata is such a big topic, big subject. So he was looking for a writer to write down whatever he has to say. So the only person he could think of was Ganesh. So he asked Ganesh that I want to compose this literature, Mahabharata. So I'd like you to please to write them down as I'm composing them. So Ganesh, okay, I will write them down as you are composing, but I'll keep on writing only as long as you do not stop talking. If you don't stop talking, then I will write. Otherwise, I'm going to stop. So better, as you're composing, you better don't stop. Of course, when you're writing something, of course, you want to think of the subject, the different relations that may be there. So how can you not at least think for a while before you can complete your composition? So how can you not think for a while? But this is the condition that Vyasadeva condition that what's his name? Ganesh gave, that I will only keep writing only if you don't stop talking. So what Vyasadeva did is that he will compose a verse. And this composition will be full of meaning that Ganeshji, he will be thinking, he has to think first that, okay, what has he composed? So he will think about it before he start writing them down. So while thinking about it, before you write them, so yesterday we'll be making another composition. So in this way, the whole Mahabharata was composed by Vyasadeva. and Ganesh, Lord Ganesh, he wrote them down this way. So the spiritual topic must be fully deliberated upon that way. So Narada Muni is saying that you not only have you deliberated, you've also realized them. You say Aditya Brahma Yasanatanam, that you've deliberated, fully realized all the aspects of Brahman. Brahma. Actually, when we say Brahma does not mean that impersonal Brahma. It actually means para Brahma, which means the ultimate, the supreme, absolute truth. That you've completely deliberated on the supreme absolute truth, because this is the topic of Brahma Sutra. Satyam Param Dhimahi. Satyam Param Dhimahi. The Dhimahi means the meditation on the supreme on the supreme in absolute truth. So I said that you've deliberated on the supreme absolute truth. He said in the Brahma yet Sanatana. And Brahma means, Sanatana means is always on the eternal Brahman. Okay, when we say eternal Brahma means the eternal absolute Lord, the absolute truth. Because when you study the Brahma Sutra, the Vedanta Sutra, you will find that how, like yesterday, how you had indicated that all aspects of Vedic teachings, even when the Vedas are telling you, are teaching, are prescribing the sacrifice to various demigods, such as Agni, Chanda, Suryadev, different demigods are there. But they actually, the main focus, the main underlying principle of the Veda is to establish the Supreme Lord, who is the basis of all these various demigods. For instance, when when said that, okay, meditate on Suryadev, sun god, or meditate on Vayudev, or meditate on Agnidev. The meditation is not that taking this particular demigod as being the supreme. No, because this particular demigods, they are some aspect of the Supreme Lord. So in one sense, the Vedas, they're actually teaching the meditation on the Supreme Lord. But because people are so materialistically, let's say, I forgot the right word for it. So people only think of materialistic enjoyment. So the Veda, okay, kind of like a tricky way. Okay, you think of Indra, you think of Agni, you think of Vayu, but actually the Veda is actually meaning the Supreme Lord, who is actually behind all these demigods. So in this way, Narada Muni was very amazed himself. He was amazed that why are you so unhappy? This is, of course, this is one of the aspects of spiritual life, that yes, there must be a competent guru who can understand the disciples. At the same time, there must be a competent, qualified disciples who's able to properly understand the fine aspect of a spiritual life. Because one does not take the guru disciple thing is not about just being just another fashion. Okay, I take a guru, I take a whatever. No, the spiritual master disciple is not about just sitting some fire sacrifice. No, I'm an initiator. Spiritual life is based, or spiritual disciple connection is based on the transmission of Vedic knowledge. This is actually what Diksha means. So now, Narada Muni is telling Vyasadeva that I don't understand why you are feeling so unhappy, because you have done this good work for humanity. So I don't understand why you are feeling unhappy. So therefore, maybe you can explain yourself. Maybe you can explain what's making you so unhappy. Now, because we know that every devotee, because the kind of unhappiness that Vyasadeva is feeling, it's not because he wasn't getting paid in what he was doing. No. It's because he's feeling himself to be, unaccomplished in his mission. Feeling himself unaccomplished in his mission to really do good to humanity. So Because sometimes in the life of devotees, sometimes, we know that yes, we want to attain the Supreme Lord. We know that the goal of our life is to develop, love of Krishna. But sometimes we feel that, something is lacking in our, especially we are not developing, spiritual quality. We get angry all the time. We don't have a proper humility. We don't respect Vaishnavas. We are we are very critical. We see fault all the time about devotee. So a devotee sometimes feel himself to be, why all this is happening? Why am I not developing proper Vaishnava quality that is expected? So sometimes one feel disgusted with oneself. One actually feel demoralized. One actually feel discouraging oneself. Even sometimes some devotees may even be thinking of suicide because they're feeling that they're not attaining the goal of life. Just like one time, I think it was Murari Gupta, who actually took a knife and was going to kill himself. Murari Gupta was a very dear devotee of Chaitanya Prabhu. So he felt like killing himself. He said, I'm going to kill himself. But Chaitanya Prabhu, knowing the heart of all his devotees, so he went to Murari Gupta. He went to him. He said, my dear Murari, give me this knife that you're hiding. Give me the knife. And I think that you think that by killing yourself, you can attain Krishna? You cannot attain Krishna. If I think I can attain Krishna by killing myself, I will do that. I will kill myself a long time ago. So therefore, this is not the way to pursue Krishna consciousness. The same Sanatana Goswami also did the same also. When Sanatana Goswami, when he went to Jagannath Puri, and he was feeling that his body, he felt that his body has become useless because when he was traveling to Puri, his body contracted some disease, some skin disease, by which so many pores come out of his body. And he knew that Chaitanya Prabhu may want to embrace him because Chaitanya is a very dear devotee of Chaitanya Prabhu. So Sanatana Goswami was also actually thinking of killing himself by putting himself under the will of the wrath of Lord Jagannath. Anyway, Chaitanya Prabhu, saved him from this. So, feeling dejected because feeling unaccomplished, sometimes it can be the natural state of devotees. So this is what another money to say that my dear Vyasadeva, you're so unhappy. And of course, Narada Muni is Trikalagyan, is the knower of past, present, and future. He knows, so we're going to be hearing more because Vyasadeva is going to say that, okay, I really don't know why I'm not happy. I really don't know why I'm feeling so incomplete. So therefore, and you are the perfect knower of the truth, so you can give me proper diagnosis. You can tell me what is wrong with me. So in this way, only a perfect guru can really know the disease of the disciple, and you can give proper cure. So anyway, I'm going to stop here, and if there is any, because I think the time is correct. So if there is any question, you can please ask. Some question or comments, you can ask.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. So it's Grace Ganga Prashad Prabhu's hands is up. Prabhu, please, you can answer your question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for the very, very scholastic class. You make me feel proud of identifying with Krishna consciousness in West Africa. When I met you in Mumbai, you were doing your CD write-ups. You gave me stack of CDs to go with. And since that time, you have been very resilient in your pursuit of media work, audio, and print. And not only are you doing this, you're very grounded in the comprehension of them. So I'm very, very proud of you as a person. And my only request,
I should be very proud of you because you are the real devotee. So.
I will want that you include in your itinerary a project that will make impact in West Africa from what you are doing. My question from your class is you mentioned that when Vyasadeva wanted to compile the Mahabharata, to write the Mahabharata, he needed assistance. And he sought the aid of Ganeshji. And it was accomplished. But my question is, Mahabharata wasn't the only thing that Vyasadeva wrote. If emphasis is on the assistance of Ganesh to write Mahabharata, how did he write the other scriptures that he compiled? That's my question.
Okay. Well, because Mahabharata was actually not an ordinary scripture. Actually, Mahabharata is actually the topmost among all the other work which he has done. Mahabharata was actually the last writing of Vyasadeva before he did Bhagavatam. So the topic of Mahabharata, even in the last verse that Nada Muni was glorifying yesterday that he has compiled Mahabharata, such a wonderful scriptures. And then in the writings of the other acharyas, they've explained what the Mahabharata, the epic of Mahabharata. I just read something here from the writing of Balabacharya. There's a commentary in Subodhini about this. So he's saying, this is the commentary of Balabacharya. He said, this is, talking, Nada Muni talking to Vyasadeva, that whatever you have contemplated and thought of has fructified into beneficial results to the entire universe. With one task only, you have fulfilled the need for this entire universe, kappa. So for this entire kappa, this, which means this whole eon, there. So it said that because of what Vyasadeva has done by compiling of Mahabharata, he said that even our Lord, for the sake of creation of this universe, had to take the help of several actions. But you never needed anyone, because by compiling the Mahabharata, you have fulfilled the entire need of humanity, which means in terms of dharma and moksha, you have fulfilled all these needs. So he said, this is the most surprising aspect. He said that your most wonderful task, which is intended to confer welfare on this universe, is now completed. So what is the task? Which said, so Nada Muni is saying this. So the creation of the Mahabharata epic, which clearly explains the four main goals of human life, namely Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha, it contains everything. Is that usually a treatise, at best, explains only one of the four main goals. But the Mahabharata has clearly explained all the four main goals. In other words, all the four goals have been explained along with the ways and means to attain them. So which means Mahabharata is just not an ordinary composition, because through the composition of all the text, certain aspects of life are emphasized, like in terms of the, how to, whatever, how to go about in life. But in Mahabharata, all aspects of life is emphasized. So, and that's why, because Vyasadeva, knowing such an immense task of writing such a noble work, so he needed an assistant. He needed someone so he wanted to compose it and get someone to write down it for him. And that's why he has not a person, none other than Ganesh. Because Ganesh is known, is also the Lord of success. If anyone wanted success in life, you should take shit of Ganesh. Ganesh there in the Brahma Samhita. So, again, Mahabharata, and that's why all the acharyas, they've actually commented on Mahabharata. Srila Prabhupada actually said he wanted to comment also on Mahabharata, and of course he could not do so because he had to finish the Bhagavatam and some other work. But so, because Mahabharata is that's why it's called, Mahabharata, which means it's such a great work of which contains everything. So therefore and of course, now yesterday, all these other compilations, usually many of them, he delegated them to his various disciples, because he had many disciples. So like in the aspect of Kamakandia, so he had the Jamin Rishi did that. Jamin Rishi became the acharya of that. So he has many other other disciples, but of course again he was the utmost overseer of all those compilation of all those literatures. But Mahabharata especially was written down by Lord Ganesh. And that's why Mahabharata is such a special scriptures. I mean, within Mahabharata, there's Lord Krishna speaking Bhagavad Gita within Mahabharata. That is the king. I mean, that is just another thing. You will not find any other philosophy that is higher than the Bhagavad Gita. The more you read Bhagavad Gita, the more taste you have. I mean, we have been giving class on Bhagavad Gita for the past, more than 40 years since I've been in ISKCON. I see it's like every day I read Bhagavad Gita, it's like I've never read it. Because each time you read it, it's new thing each time you read it. And Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata. You can see. So, anyway, I hope that answer your question. I hope. Is that okay? Hare Krishna, Gangaji.
Hare Krishna.
Is that okay?
Yes. Thank you very much. It meets my need.
Okay, Hare
It meets my need. Thank you. I'm grateful,
okay.
and I still say I'm proud of you.
We love to see you in Vrindavan.
Let's believe Krishna to perfect my present situation.
Well,
yeah, it's in the pipeline.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So any other question? How come we don't not many people today? Like quite a small numbers of people today.
Today is weekend, so sometimes people are more engaged in weekends. So sometimes they come more also, sometimes people, it depends on the mood. So so we have Kevin Prabhu, please, alias Krishna Silika.
Hare Krishna. Well, Kavikana Prabhu, it's nice to see your son there,
Thank you.
How old is he?
3.
Huh? 3.
Yeah.
Okay, my question concerns Bhakti Damodar Maharaj gave a class the other day, and I think it was Sahadev Prabhu who brought up a point, saying that in today's ISKCON, the disciples don't have so much of a relationship with their initiating guru. And for this reason, they're kind of obliged to take shelter of Prabhupada's Shiksha. So Ishvara Prabhu, you were saying that the criteria for a successful spiritual relationship, in order for the transmission of Vedic knowledge to take place, there has to be a good relationship between the guru and the disciple. So my question is, if you can say like the initiating guru, who would be middleman, I don't want to say middleman, it doesn't sound good. But what, if you apply this verse in the Gita, Tadvini pranipatena, and the disciple does not really have a close relationship with their initiating spiritual master, what kind of, how you can say, does that lack of a relationship with the initiating spiritual master have prevent the effective transmission of Vedic knowledge from taking place? Or how much do we lose from not having that intimate relationship with our initiating spiritual master and being forced to take shelter of Prabhupada? or take guidance from Prabhupada in the absence of our initiating spiritual masters' presence in our direct presence in our lives.
So basically, the spiritual life, it's not really, let's say, I can say it's hardly ever really deeply understood by the, let's say, by the devotees, because we said, okay, we have a guru because everybody has a guru. You know, it's like a fashion. Okay, who's your spiritual master? Oh, so and so is my spiritual master. You know, that's, you know, sometimes you enter a temple. I remember when I first came to India years ago, the first question, everybody say, hey, Prabhu, Vanchakapas, who's your spiritual master? It's like, you know, and for my culture, you know, I'm a Yoruba man. If somebody asks me, who's your father? That's an insult, complete insult. So what's your, you know, so first of all, because we just take the whole thing for granted, we don't know what is spiritual, like we don't know what is spiritual master, we don't know what is disciple, we don't know the, you know. And of course, you know, it goes both ways also. You know, let's say, I know that, you know, we have some gurus they just want disciple, regardless of what qualification that person has. You know, there is an injunction in the Hari Bhakti Vilas that yes.
Cannot hear you.
You cannot hear me? Okay. Anyway, there's an injunction in the Hari Bhakti Vilas where everybody else can hear me. I'm not muted.
Yeah, we are hearing you, bro.
Okay. So there is an injunction in the Hari Bhakti Vilas that yes, hide your guru. Your guru is not a topic, it's not a subject of public discussion. You know, because guru is such a confidential thing in one's life. So, and Srila Narottam Das Thakur also said that whatever method of devotional service you are performing, you're engaging in, that should be kept secret to yourself. So who's your guru is not nobody's business. It's actually an insult for anyone to ask you, hey, Prabhuji, who's your guru, who's your spiritual? That's a complete nonsensical. So I never answer anybody that question. Because it's very, very personal thing. You know, Tato Diksha, this is something Goswami said, what is Diksha? Diksha means the transmission of spiritual knowledge. That's what Diksha means. Diksha does not mean you sit down on a fire. That's not Diksha. Actually, initiation into spiritual life, which means that is the beginning of your spiritual life, is when you actually decide to start listening to a competent, you know, qualified spiritual person. That is the beginning of a spiritual life. And so which means that the scripture do say that one should search out that
Turn
person.
off your thing, I can't.
Okay, so what?
Turn on the phone, I can't.
What? Everybody else is hearing me?
Hear you, Prabhu. We can hear you. Maybe some problem with Prabhu's audio.
Okay, somebody. Okay, so you know the spiritual life is like a razor's edge. A razor's edge. You know, it's like Sanatana Goswami said, it's like a razor's edge by which it must be carefully applied. You know, so I mean, just like when Chaitanya Prabhu met his spiritual master what is that? In Gaia, he said, "Now, my dear Lord, now whatever I've had in my life, now I'm now completely surrender everything unto you. You know, now deliver me. You know, but most of the time we are not really ready for deliverance. We're just really interested in the social aspect. Okay, I'm a devotee, you're a devotee, this is my guru, that's your guru. So mainly we are interested in the social aspect, not really in the really spiritual aspect in terms of how we can really attain the ultimate goal of life. So that's always our problems. So again, people say, okay, let me just whoever my guru is, because I don't see my guru. I see my guru maybe once a year, or sometimes I don't even see the guru. Especially now in this coronavirus, in this corona age, You may not even see the Guru for 2 or 3 years. Only God knows how long the corona is going to be. So what's going to happen? Now, so people say, okay, I'm just going to take Srila Prabhupada's book. But that is not the answer. Because Guru disciple means personal. We are personal. It has to be a personal relationship. We are reading the scriptures, not just Prabhupada's book, all the Acharya's books are there, also there. And of course, we get some mercy by reading them, but there's also personal thing has to be there. So there has to be that person that we can have personal relationship with. When the mantras to the Guru it said, Vande Gurum, it's about, I said, I offer my respectful obeisance to the spiritual masters. So which means that, yes, you may get a particular initiation, and if that particular Guru is not, is not there to guide us, then we should find another competent person who can give us, very meaningful, siksha. So we can have many siksha gurus. So Shisha Guru is there, and of course Shisha Guru must be qualified as the Shisha Guru, but we can have Shisha Guru who can also
I'm getting nothing.
Guide us. So therefore, the scripture said that while Disha Guru may be one, but there can be many Siksha Guru. So therefore, the main driving force of a spiritual life is actually Siksha Guru. So we should definitely find that person who we can have like a very friendly attitude towards. Somebody who is very, very like our well-wisher and can give us the proper guidance in the form of a Siksha Guru. So we shouldn't think that, okay, my spiritual life now, because my Guru is not there now, I'm just going to take Srila Prabhupada. No, that is not the way. Prabhupada never taught us that one. Prabhupada never said that, Yola, for instance, Prabhupada never said that, okay, if I'm not there, just take share of my spiritual master. Prabhupada never said that. So why do we want to do something which Prabhupada himself never teach? He basically want to make Prabhupada onto what he is not. He never teaches that one. Prabhupada taught all the sasha. He said, okay, there must be a Sisha Guru in everyone's life. And that should be an ongoing thing. That should be ongoing for. So which means we really have to ask ourselves in terms of, how serious are we about our spiritual life? How serious we are about it. So all these things will, ultimately, be within us. How serious we are. We cannot take spiritual life, very, very lightly. So Sanatana Goswami said, spiritual life is like a razor's edge, and it must be carefully applied. Otherwise, one can get caught. So why do we want to take, such risk? Anyway, when we meet again, but since you have Vrindavan, Kevin, when we meet again, we can talk more. So when we meet again, Vrindavan, we can talk more since you're also Vrindavan. Maybe you're having some, I think he's having some problem, some audible problems. You can hear now, is it?
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. I really want to hear your message. I only got about 5%. Anyway.
Okay, next time when we meet,
thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
So we can talk in person. You can talk in person.
So we have Sade, it's great Sade, Prabhu. It's great Sade, Prabhu. Please unmute yourself.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Sade.
Thank you for the class. My quick question is, Srila Prabhupada one time said the word cheat, C-H-E-A-T. And then if you mix the letters, you can also have teach, T-E-A-C-H.
Did you say cheat?
Cheat, C-H-E-A-T.
Oh, cheap.
Cheating.
Okay.
Cheating.
Okay, you can go on with your question.
So those who know, they teach. Those who do not know and try to teach, they cheat.
Mhm.
In your lecture, you were saying that one will have to first realize what he's preaching before he preaches. And if that is the case, then I will not be able to preach because I haven't realized what I'm preaching. And I'm sure lots of devotees have not realized Krishna is God. I'll speak for myself. I haven't realized that Krishna is the absolute, but I know that he is the supreme absolute truth. So will you give a little more light on what you meant by that? Thank you.
Yes. Even many of all our acharyas, they've always said that one should not be a parrot. A parrot means it's a repetition of what the parrot have heard, but without any particular, understanding or deliberation, just repeating the parrot. So, which means one should not be a parrot. One should actually be, one should be, a realized teacher. Because what happened is that when we realized, what we are teaching. Now what is this realization means? This realization means practicing what we are teaching. Then it becomes sublime, which means you feel accomplished within yourself because you know that what you are teaching is something that you yourself you believe in. Which means we should not teach something that we don't believe in. That is an hypocrisy. Like so the Chaitanya Prabhu always talk about prachar and achar. So prachar and achar. Prachar means preaching. Prachar. Okay, let's spread consciousness far and wide. But there's also achar, means behavior. So Chaitanya Prabhu he said there are many who preaches but do not behave properly, which means they don't have the quality. They don't, no achar, no proper behavior is there. And there are those who are like sadhu, but their preaching is very, very minimum. But of course, my Prabhu was praising Haridas Thakur that your behavior is proper, and also your preaching is also excellent. So therefore, that makes you the Jaga Guru. That makes you the spiritual master of the whole world. So therefore, my Prabhu made Haridas Thakur the Harinamacharya, Namacharya, because it was the emblem of all devotional, qualities. But yes, as you said, I know that many of us in the beginning, especially when we join, we just have some faith that the Krishna is God, the Supreme Lord, and we are servants, part and parcel of the Lord. And we are meant to go and distribute, even though we may not have a deep faith in what we are teaching, and we may not have faith. But we have been ordered by the spiritual master that, okay, you go and distribute books, you go and preach Krishna books. Just go tell everyone that, yes, you're not this body, you're spiritual. Just go and teach, tell everyone this one. So we have been ordered that by the spiritual master. And without faith in the Guru, we go and do our preaching activities. So even though that, yes, the proper behavior, all this quality may not be there in us, but because we have followed the order of the spiritual master, that yes, we should give our this spiritual consciousness to other living entities, they'll be happy. Then by doing that, we get benefit. We will get benefit. So which means that qualification will eventually come in because we are following the order of the spiritual master. But this is not something we can just do on our own. A kami, somebody cannot on the street pick up a book, read it, and say, "Oh, very wonderful book. Let me go and tell other people so that I can get some benefit out of it." That is a hypocrisy. That will not benefit anyone. But if we simply follow the order of the spiritual master and repeat the message, then eventually the message of the guru will come, by which those qualities that we are talking about, even though it may not be there in us, but they will eventually be coming in. Eventually because it becoming so. Therefore, as I said, we are existing on the basis of the mercy of our guru, the mercy of our spiritual master. So therefore, in the guru, just like we sing the Guru Puja prayer in the morning, and yes, everything depends on the mercy of the spiritual master. That's whatever I am made up of, it's all by the mercy of my guru. Personally, I have no quality, but because this is the order of my guru, so therefore I am doing this. So that is just so this can take over the situation. So we should preach, and that preaching will be the basis of our qualification. That will purify us, because by preaching Krishna consciousness, you become purified. Preaching purifies, because as we are preaching, we get benefit, and also those who are also hearing, they also getting benefit. Both sides are getting benefited, because whatever we are doing it only because of the order of the spiritual master. And that's why we should never let the thought of our guru be out of our mind. Whatever we are doing, everything we are doing is because of the mercy of my spiritual master. It's because of the mercy of the guru. Whatever we are doing. And then so spiritual life will be blissful. And basically. So the order of the spiritual master, the mercy of the spiritual master is all we are made of. Okay. So therefore the guru is the basic of spiritual life.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. I'm still not very much convinced. That does not mean that your answer isn't right, but the fact that you still insist that, like what you earlier on said, is that one should only preach when he is realized what he's preaching, doesn't really collaborate what you just said, because even though it's a fact that the expectation and the aspiration is to realize what we preach, but I do not think that we have to wait till we realize before we preach, because it is from the preaching that mercy comes, and through the mercy we may be able to realize. But if you are saying it has to go the other way around, that you first have to realize before you preach, then I'm afraid ISKCON will no more be a preaching movement.
Well,
because lots of devotees preaching yesterday, today, and tomorrow will not be self-realized. I had a lecture from Radhanath Maharaj where he was talking about in 1972-73, Srila Prabhupada was given a lecture on the disappearance day of his guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada Maharaj. And Srila Prabhupada was crying. His voice was choked, that he truly thank all his disciples who are helping him to spread the movement of Sri Chaitanya. And Srila Maharaj, the devotees were neophytes. They didn't actually know what they were doing, but yet Srila Prabhupada was really appreciative of their effort. So to me, one does not have to wait to become self-realized before he preaches.
Now, as you have to, if you think deeply of what I just said, there's no contradiction. First of all, I'm talking of the ultimate principle. Vyasadeva Nada Muni was his being a spiritual master of Nada Muni, and Nada Muni was commending him being he has realized, and then he had taught what he has realized. So this way it became and this, basically, we cannot be guru unless we cannot assume the position of guru unless we have self-realization. Otherwise, it becomes cheating. There's a difference between somebody's trying to serve the spiritual master and then preaching on behalf of the spiritual master, even though they may not realize it. It's a totally big deal. There's someone who wants to pose himself as a teacher, as a self-realized person, and he has not realized what is preaching, want to assume himself to be a spiritual master. So that is that's a cheating. It's hypocrisy. So therefore, because Vyasadeva, he realized what is teaching, and he's teaching so therefore he had many disciples by which he had taught them the Vedic wisdom, because he realized what is teaching. So we cannot assume ourselves as a preacher or as a spiritual master of others when we ourselves we don't even have faith. We just like a parrot. We don't even have the lesson understanding or the realization of what we are talking about. So therefore, it becomes disturbance to the society. So it's a totally different thing than somebody that we tend to obey the spiritual master, we tend to serve the spiritual master. In this way, we can serve, we can spread, spread this movement. So therefore, there's really no contradiction to that answer I gave you, and also to my earlier talk about Vyasadeva, about Nadamuni, commending Vyasadeva. So there is no, there's no contradiction if you think about it much more deeply. No contradiction. Hare Krishna. Any other person?
Thank you very much, Prabhu. So we have two hands more up. It's Grace Kashinga Prabhu and it's great and George Amega. But before that, Pari Brajaka Maharaj wrote in the chat room. I don't know, maybe you want me to read it or you can read it directly.
Okay. My Dandada Pranam to you, Prabhu. As Krishna Prabhu rightly expressed, your Sukriti spiritual wealth is exemplary. Your deep realizations of the inner meaning of Krishna consciousness is clearly visible. I really feel the necessity to reevaluate my own position as an aspiring servitor of Hari Guru and Vaishnava. In this instance, I'm humbled. My heartfelt Dandavat pranams to you. That is not only to Kusha, no, not you. That is to, what's his name? Kavi. So may I just add that our Prabhupada is a Siksha line, not Diksha. I mean, I don't know what, anyway.
Like I think it's just complementing and adding to whatever you're saying.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. As I said, we are Siksha Parampara, not Diksha Parampara. Yeah, because the earlier question by Kevin, in terms of the Siksha and Diksha thing, that we actually Siksha line. So therefore, we can have so many Siksha gurus.
So we have Prabhu. Please, Prabhu, can you unmute yourself and ask Prabhu questions?
So thank you, Parikrocha Maharaj. So thank you for your writing. Yes, you can ask question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. And Dandavana pranams to everyone on the platform. So we have been nourished this morning by the pure message of Bhagavatam to the via media of your wonderful explanations and the down-to-earth delivery. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to ask this question to still aid me to understand much better. I think before your main lectures, you were giving a synopsis of this chapter or the canto about how Ashwatthama becomes the next Manu. So
no, next VS.
Next
VS.
Next VS, yes. Yeah. Thank you very much. So when you have said that, you yourself said sometimes the ways of the Lord is very difficult to understand. And that is where I want to ask my question from. Because we know Ashwatthama by dint of his gross enemy towards the pure devotees of the Lord, like the Pandavas, it naturally aroused the anger of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, such that the Lord cursed him that he will suffer and he will not die. So by the message of Bhagavatam, we understand Ashwatthama is still moving. First, when the jiva was uprooted from his forehead, it means he has a very big wound and is growing every day, every now and then, and he's suffering more and more. So I want to ask first, what is the activities of Ashwatthama now? Because naturally, it is when we are becoming purified by dint of our sublime activities, devotional service to the Lord, then we become more purified. Then we can accept higher positions. So what is he doing now that is going to qualify him to be the next Vyas? This is my simple question. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your question. So Ashwatthama is one of those persons who are called a Chiranjeev. Chiranjeev means someone who will never die. Just like Hanuma is Chiranjeev, Vyasadeva is Chiranjeev. So many Chiranjeevs are there. Those who always living. Like if you go to the Himalayas, if you come Africa, you can see many of those personalities who always just like Narayan Rishi. They are there in the Himalayas. Himalaya is such a wonderful abode. So as for time, of course, because of his heinous activities, he was caused to suffer perpetually until the end of Kali Yuga, the end of this Kali Yuga. He has to be by himself. He will have no companions until the end of Kali Yuga. Now, I read somewhere that some devotees were merciful on him. I read somewhere some time ago. I don't see time to get the clarity of it. That some devotees that he was able to render some kind of a service to some devotees, to some great devotees of the Lord, and like he gets a kind of a benefit because Ashwatthama also he was the son of Dronacharya, and Dronacharya is Dronacharya is a great devotee he's a devotee of the Lord. He's a devotee of the Lord, Dronacharya. So even though he fought for the Kauravas, but he was a great devotee of the Lord. So the whole stories of Mahabharata is full of contradictions. So many contradictions in Mahabharata. That's its story. But in reality, those stories are not really the main goal of the Mahabharata. The main goal of the Mahabharata are the Lord's teachings, the teachings that are there. Just like the Bhagavad Gita, for example. In the Bhagavad Gita, location says, Samoha, Samabhuteshu, he said that I am equal to all living entities. Which means to the Lord, there's no friend or enemy. Everyone is equal to him. Samoha, Samabhuteshu. Whereas on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he was taking sides with he was Arjun's chariot driver. On the Gita, he said, I'm equal to all living entities. So which means the main focus of the Mahabharata is to give us a story so that we can hear the teachings of the Lord. Just like in our childhood in Africa, I know that in my time, we always surrounded by the elderly people who will tell us so many fantastic stories, many wonderful stories. But the main purpose of those stories is always to teach us something, All of us, we all come from different African villages. So we've heard all those stories. But those are just to teach us particular things, some particular, aspect of life. So Mahabharata was presented in a way to, some person you become very angry with, and some person you feel very, very moved by their particular situation. Especially if you read the story of the Savitri, who married her husband and her husband was going to die within a year. So how did she able to protect her husband? By satisfying Yamaraj, by tricking Yamaraj into giving her benediction that yes, she's going to become the mother of 100 sons. And when Yamaraj give her that benediction, okay, that you're going to be the mother of 100 sons. And she said, okay, if I'm going to be the mother of 100 sons and you're taking my husband away, how is this possible? So Yamaraj is, oh, I've been tricked. So her husband was saved from dying according to his destiny. So many stories are there in the Mahabharata story. So therefore you have situation of Ashwatthama, being envious of the Pandavas because of his allegiance to Duryodhana, and Duryodhana himself, he was considered to be the incarnation of Kali. So many personalities were used but at the same time also the main thing is not what is presented as the story, but the main thing is the teachings. You have Bhishma Gita, which teaches the principles of Varnashram. So all these things. So how Ashwatthama is going to become the next Vyas? So it's a plaything, it's the lost plaything, because everyone is like a play, it's like a puppet. Just like at the end of at the end of Mahabharata, not Mashala Lila, in the last Pava of Mahabharata, you find that the Pandavas, they experienced hell, they went to hellish planets. And then the Kauravas, they went to heaven. So somebody said, what is this? Duryodhana, all his brothers, they are in the heavenly planet, sitting in the courtyard of Indra. And here's the Pandavas, the great devotees of the Lord, here they are in the hellish planet. So they have to give the explanation that, okay, why this happened, this or that. But it doesn't mean that, okay, devotees go to hell. Actually, devotees are always with the Lord. But it just, certain teaching by which we have to try to rise above various contradictions that may be there when we read the scriptural, passages. And that's why it's always very important to have a reflection on whatever, because anything we are reading the scriptures, there's always something beyond the ordinary, beyond the thing that we are reading. There's always something much more, higher than that. So it should not be surprising that Ashwatthama is going to be the next Vyas. So we just have to accept it. What he said, there's one verse, he said that Achintyan, what's that? Achintya, I forgot, that's what is Achintya means what is inconceivable. Something are just inconceivable. So we just have to reconcile ourselves to it. That's all. Some things are just inconceivable. Otherwise, we keep asking ourselves, why? We can keep asking ourselves, why are we going to asking this for eternity? Why? It's just beyond our understanding, that's all. Just accept it. Okay, it's going to happen. Everything goes on according to the will of the Lord, that's all. Everything goes on according to the Lord's will.
We have the last question, Prabhu. We already gone 40 minutes.
Oh, okay. Last question.
So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Judge Omega, please unmute yourself and ask Prabhu question. Make it brief, because you already have gone long time,
Okay.
Yeah. Dandava Prabhu. Yeah, Prabhu, my question actually started Prabhu touch on it because initially when I wanted to join this Zoom platform, I was told unless you are initiated devotee before you'll be able to join. But I still insist to join, and I think I'm getting the nectar from here now. But there's something Sadhguru Prabhu touched on, because being a new fight, I'm also trying to preach just by the little bit understanding that I have about the knowledge that I'm also getting. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. So I begin to preach. So as you said, that one should not be parallel. I was a little bit backward, but thank God, Sir Prabhu came in, then you gave the explanation. But my main question has to do with is there when a devotee is one way or the other being morose, sometimes they think of committing suicide. As you mentioned, is it one devotee then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have to come in? But when you read Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 6, text number 7, there is a one devotee called, is it Prasadra, if I can correct me well. When he unknowingly killed the cow for the lion, he was cursed by the family priest, Vasista. And he was cursed, he became a soldier. But he renounced, and the scripture made me understand that he became a sage. But when he went to the forest, he saw the forest bush burning, he dashed himself into the fire. To me, I think is that a suicide on the strength of being a holy person. So I want a clarification here. Because after why, if someone can be that much realized to that extent, that he made mention that it's not going to be a suicide, but he went ahead and committed suicide. And scripture made me understand that at the end he was neglected. So Prabhu, I want you to at least expatiate a bit on this for me to understand the purport of this as compared to what you have said. Thank you very much.
Okay, I just trying to understand your question. The
Okay.
Now one thing in my class, because there are Hare Krishna. Okay. First of all, when I speak, normally there are different type of audience, and so normally there are various types of audience level of my, when I'm, when I'm preaching. Usually, majority of my class are normally directed to those who are already well experienced in Krishna consciousness. Sometimes it may be difficult for the new people to sometimes to grasp what is being expressed. And of course, in the long run, we come to understand it. Now, the question of suicide, that sometimes you're talking of somebody killing a cow and then he was caused to die, and I'm not sure what is the what study that study coming from. Now, one thing, of course, this suicide is never a recommended thing. One cannot say, okay, I'm going to commit suicide. Just because normally I brought that point in my class because this one of our great teachers, our acharyas, they say that sometimes a devotee who is going through tribulation in life because they feel themselves unaccomplished in their devotional practice. So because feeling themselves unaccomplished, so sometimes they contemplate suicide sometimes. That, okay, why continue living if I cannot achieve the ultimate goal of life? So then, of course, that is never any solution. Okay, let me just give my body because I'm able to attend, because the help is always there. The help is always there. Just like Vyasadeva, he was feeling very unhappy, very sorrowful, even though he had done so much for humanity. He was still feeling unhappy. But when he was feeling that, then immediately his guru came in to give a solution. His guru came in, and Nadamani came in, who is like a perfect physician. So, just like Nadamani prevented Murari Gupta from killing himself, and as well as Sanatana Goswami. So, which means suicide is never any solution. And also for those who have totally surrendered to the Lord, complete surrender, even sometimes, let's say there may be a situation whereby they kill themselves or whatever. Actually, we've had some situation here in Vrindavan. Some devotees. I remember many years ago, one devotee, committed suicide. He killed himself because they feel themselves to be unaccomplished. It does happen, but such devotees, they, of course, they get taken care of by the Lord. I know that we also have a story of Church Aridas, a great devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he did some mistake. And this devotee, he was rejected by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will not allow him to come to his presence. So eventually, because eventually he will not be allowed to see Chaitanya, to come in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this devotee, he went to Ganges and gave up his body. And then after he gave up his body, and then he came back in his ashram form, and he was singing to the, he was singing for the pleasure of Lord Chaitanya. Even though now some devotees who are hearing the voice of this devotee singing, some of them are thinking that, oh, maybe he has become a ghost. He has become, by killing himself, he has become a ghost. But immediately, Sarup Damodara said, no, any devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord can never become a ghost. And that devotee, you has actually attained a very higher destination. So again, that topic of suicide coming here, we should not think that, oh, if I'm not getting this way, let me, because there's much more wonderful aspect of Krishna consciousness. Wonderful aspect is always there, and there is always hope. There's always hope for everything. So that's what we should meditate upon. Okay, so you can always write me a personal letter because we have to end the class. It's already after 3 o'clock. You can always write me a personal message if there's something is not clear. I can try to express myself more. You can get my email, my WhatsApp number there. You can always send me a personal message. Okay. So I think I'm going to stop here. Hare Krishna, Kavi Prabhu. So you can stop here. Hare Krishna, is it Kavi there?
Yes, Prabhu, I'm here with you.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. So thank you very much. We are very grateful for your time. It's almost 2 hours. So it means that the devotee will enjoying your lecture. That is why they can keep you for long like this. So really appreciate your time. So thank all the devotees also for giving their time. So we want all the devotees to please unmute themselves so that we can chant one Hare Krishna Maha mantra to thank Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I'm not living around again. Yeah, I'm not around. Now I feel like problem. It's a big man. Yeah, praying for you. Once more.
Dhira dhira jana prira Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Prabhu Premamritam Banidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Priya Karo Nimal कृपा भरऊ भुवि भुव भारा